team deserve this championship because they played their butts off in the series.
Sports Call with Jordan Glass and Davis Allen on your radio, on Facebook, and YouTube.
Hey, maybe you played for losing teams growing up. You just maybe don't understand what it's like to be a champion like this. But guess what? Whenever you are the best team in the world, you're going to let everyone know you're the best team in the world.
At ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
There's a lot going on right now, and broadcasters are on the ground covering all of it, bringing you the weather, the traffic, and breaking news, all while entertaining you 24 hours a day. Someone needs to tell you what's going on around the world and in our hometowns, and that someone is us. We are free radio. We are always there. We are broadcasters. Visit wearebroadcasters.com or text radio to 52886 to learn more. Furnished by Canadian.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
From coast to coast, the Stephen A. Smith Show starts right now.
What's going on, everybody? Monday, the 5th day of August, 2019. Dan Gross is sitting in for Stephen A. on the Stephen A. Smith Show, which is being brought to you by mycomputercareer.edu.
All sports, all the time. ESPN Pensacola 94.5 WYCT Pensacola.
The following has been produced by Talk Football LLC. Former Florida Gators quarterback, NFL quarterback, and NFL head coach. Coach K. Stevenson has a resume second to none, and now he's sharing his insider information with you. Talk Football with Coach K starts right now on ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
Happy Monday. Welcome into the program. It is ESPN Pensacola 94.5. I am Joe Ford, joined in studio as always by the legendary Coach K. Coach, glad to have you in for another week, getting to talk about everything going on in the world of professional and college football, getting that much closer to the start of the season. First things first, though, your weekend, you look very refreshed. You've got your Florida Gators fishing shirt on. It's the quintessential summer look here in the state of Florida. You pull it off wonderfully.
Absolutely. Well, took it easy this weekend.
Good.
Met with a couple of guys, old Gators, and had my shirt on.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you get to watch any of the Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Saturday?
I did.
Anything stand out to you? I really appreciated Kevin Mawai, his comments. I've never seen a bad induction speech, but I thought Kevin Mawai's was very good. A lot of people, or I think the star of the show was not Ed Reed, but it was Ed Reed's bust. It looked so lifelike that they're talking about a bust Hall of Fame where you have the best Hall of Fame busts have their own separate wing, and Ed Reed may be at the top of the list there. But it was a great weekend, and it's the unofficial start of the football season is here, and what a great scene there in Canton, Ohio.
Well, I think the whole scene and what they do, how they handle it, for the most part is outstanding, and what they're doing for those people is well deserved. But I really think they've got to clamp down on these speeches, to be honest with you. I think they go well over time on them. They're too long, and it's I've heard a lot of comments from friends of mine who were totally put out by the speeches.
Yeah.
So I mean, nobody wants to. But anyway, Yeah, God bless him. I mean,
Yeah.
I know it's
well, and I know that the NFL has tried to curtail that. I know in recent years, I remember they used to let the presenters on stage to do their own speech ahead of the actual inductees. Now they are limiting the presenters to just a video presentation, a tribute. Of course, we had Jerry Jones, who was the presenter for Gil Brandt. And then I think Kevin Mawai's wife was his presenter. That was all of the induction ceremony that I saw. But you're right. I mean, because I think Ty Law was the guy on Saturday who kind of went way long. But hey, I mean, it's. How many guys are in the Hall of Fame? Like 326, I think, out of the 25,000 or so players. And so, yes, I mean, for television, it's probably not the best thing, but, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and, they've earned the responsibility, the right to be able to have that moment, so more power to them. The big news over the weekend was Tom Brady, who, thankfully, is out of the poorhouse now. For a guy who never really seems to have anything go his way, it's about time the ball bounced the right way for him, Coach.
Well, I think what people don't realize, and I give this guy so much credit, not only as a player, but as a person, and there are a lot of people that don't like him because people can't stand success. People don't like the Patriots because of all the success they've had. I think they're great. I pull for them to win every ball game. I like their organization. I like the people involved. I like the quarterback situation. I like the coaching situation. I pull for people, and I pull for what's going on around them, and what they represent and how they represent this game that I love so very much and the profession that I love. But Brady... I don't know of any other player in the National Football League who has taken less year in and year out. This is not the only year. He's only paid $14 million. I say only $14 million. That sounds like
compared to the top end of the market.
He was way down the list. I mean, there are rookies making. I mean, not rookies, but young guys making a lot more than Brady. It's ridiculous, He's never done it he doesn't need the what do they call it, the respect, that the others feel that they demand through dollars, and he doesn't need all that. He's making plenty of money. He's probably doing it the wise things with it and investing it well. His wife makes quite a bit, I'm sure, too.
Yeah.
But despite all that, the bottom line is he helps the franchise by taking less, gives them some money under their cap, so they can keep players there, and just a very, very magnanimous gesture on his part. And you got to give him all the credit in the world. I do, and I think he's, like I said, if I had a football team today, and they said, "All right, you take your pick of any quarterback in America to quarterback your football team, who would you want?" I'd take Tom Brady.
Some of the details of the contract, according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, through the 2021 season, so we're talking about a 2-year extension that's going to be paying him $23 million this year. The Patriots, and I wish I knew, I would love to spend a month or so, and even then wouldn't be enough. I would love to really dive into how the contracts and the salary cap works. I wish I knew the ins and outs of how that works, but that's the people way above my level of education and expertise. But the Patriots are going to get an additional $5.5 million of salary cap space. And you're right, Coach. This is something that every 2 or 3 years we hear about with the Patriots, is that Tom Brady agrees to to be paid less than the top of the quarterback market. The Patriots are always able to have a little bit extra space in their cap for those guys that they take risks on. Some guys like a Josh Gordon or a Corey Dillon, those type of players that the Patriots always seem to be one step ahead of. The NFL is like their personal sandbox where they just they trade for players that other teams shouldn't give away. They trade away players that other teams shouldn't take on, and it always seems to work well for them. And it speaks to the level of trust. It speaks to the level of professionalism, as you're talking about, in that organization. Will Tom Brady ever be the highest paid quarterback? Probably not. This deal puts him in line to be the 6th highest paid quarterback, along with Drew Brees. But a team friendly deal, a player friendly deal from the standpoint that yes, he's not making what he could. But you're right. Financially, he and his wife are doing okay for themselves and their family. And it's just a really great situation to be in for the quarterback as well as the football team. Tom Brady posted on Twitter over the weekend. He got to hold his draft card. He was in Canton, and the 6th round pick, the compensatory selection, 199. Man, I still can't believe that. And what a remarkable career, remarkable organization. As I said, Coach, they always seem to be one step ahead of everybody else.
Well, they are. They are in many ways. And, of course, a lot of it has to do with the organization. They're ahead on the field from a football X and O standpoint, game plans, preparing their people to play, how they play the game, the use of personnel in matchups. And I mean, I could go through a litany of reasons, but it also, you have to go back to the front office and how it's handled. Belichick runs that organization from top to bottom. Even the owner and his son allow Belichick to set the rules of engagement for the organization, and they back him 100%. Now, what I think is so encouraging about the Patriots is that you're having a blueprint set there that hopefully other teams, and I'm sure they will, other teams will learn to follow and adopt as their own. And I think that's going to make for better coaches, give athletes a better chance to participate in a meaningful way. There are just a lot of pluses about this football team, but you're absolutely right. They do things the right way and a little differently than most people and other people in the league.
If you want to weigh in, the number 972-1945. Again, you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K. 972-1945. Quick programming note, by the way. Really excited to hear what our guest today has to say. Coach K is going to be speaking to New Orleans Saints General Manager and Executive Vice President Mickey Loomis coming up next segment. We're about a week removed from the deal that made Michael Thomas the highest paid wide receiver. So, Coach, I'm looking forward to hearing how that happened and how that all went down, and really just diving into the Saints roster as they're hoping to make a run at a Super Bowl. I do want to ask you a question because something that you said was talking about teams who try to emulate the Patriots' structure as a program. We certainly have seen a lot of coaches be kind of pulled away from the Patriots coaching tree. Guys like Charlie Weiss, the Matt Patricia, Brian Flores now with the with the Dolphins. Excuse me. Not just coaches, but Josh McDaniels being another one. Not just coaches, but also executives who worked in that system. Scott Pioli is a good example of that with the Chiefs. All to varying degrees of success. Some not successful at all. Others to, I think with the Chiefs, you've kind of seen the rewards of that. But as much as teams and coaches try to emulate the Patriots system, the structure, no other team can do it.
No, you're right. And the coaching tree goes pretty deep all around, even at Houston.
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien. But it's difficult. The reason is it's very difficult to do. You got to bury your ego a little bit to do it. Number one, you can't have the complete autonomy involved with a lot of the wishes that and egos demand. So the other thing is you got to have people who know how to get players, evaluate players. Number one. And then provide those players an environment that they can grow in, they will grow in, and you're not going to have all the outlaws. Think about this now. Even though he has over the years brought some people in who may have had a little tainted reputation, but name all the problems that Belichick has with players in the dressing room or on the field or whatever. They're almost non-existent.
There's a couple that you can think of off the top of your head, but that's any team.
Well, it's so different than any team, really, because other teams have them one after the other. There are a multitude. The Patriots, I bet you couldn't name a handful over the years that have been there. I'm talking about holdouts, people who have not abided by the Belichick rules and regulations. They're gone. They're gone, and the players know that when they go there. That's why you can bring a diva in there if he values the contribution that person can make to their football team. You can bring a guy like that in there because they know going in that if they either adhere to the rules of the club and play team-oriented football, or they're going to be gone. They won't be there.
A mindset of, hey, we're bringing you here because you can help us, but we don't need you. So you're in line or you're gone. And certainly Belichick is so key to that, but I think equally as important is the mindset of how Tom Brady has always been. He still carries that chip around his shoulder, but given his play, given the amount of respect that he has around the league, around the organization, it's like having a second Bill Belichick on the football field where here's a guy who's commanded the respect, he's earned the respect, and he backs it up by how he plays. Brady is an extension, really, of Belichick, and I think that's where a lot of teams probably fall short as well, of not having that element.
Yeah, Brady is like having a coach on the field, and even in practices and whatever. I know I've heard people who have been to their practices, in fact, been involved with them in with other teams as they practice against each other. Brady is like a coach out there. I mean, he's yelling and screaming at people that don't do it right. He just takes command of the offense out there. But they have, and in fact, that's the way Belichick, I'm sure, wants it. But they have a system, and it's adhered to totally, and it certainly has proven to be the winning formula.
Well, we're going to go ahead and take a time out. Again, you're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, a Monday edition. When we come back, we're going to get New Orleans Saints General Manager and Executive Vice President Mickey Loomis on the horn and check in on how things are going over in New Orleans, get his thoughts on the contract situation. Of course, he had a big one that he was able to get done last week with star wide receiver Michael Thomas. We'll talk to him next.
Sometimes your bank, your family, and your friends love you, but they don't have the money to help you. Sometimes we have chances to make money, but the old saying, you've got to have money to make money, rings true. At Pensacola Specialty Pond, we can help. If you have trucks, heavy equipment, airplanes, boats, jet skis, anything with value, Pensacola Specialty Pond can loan you that short-term money you need. No credit checks, and at Pensacola Specialty Pond, you're going to find the money and the discretion you need.
Now at 6428 Pensacola Boulevard, north of Car City. Call 432-9050, 432-9050.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
All right, it's time for some straight talk. You wouldn't pay $100 for seats to a baseball game where you can get the same seats for $50. So why pay more on your wireless when you can get the same 4G LTE networks for up to half the cost? For $45 a month, get our unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data from Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, only at Walmart.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Tuesdays are the worst. They're all that stands between you and the downhill part of the week. But now they're a lot less worse, because Wing Tuesdays at B-Dubs are buy one, get one free traditional wings. So Monday, you may kick off the week. Wednesday, you may have a cool nickname. Thursday, you might be the almost weekend. But watch your back, because Tuesdays just officially became Wing Tuesdays. Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar! Buy one traditional wings order and get one of equal value free. Participation and promotional details vary by location. Check in with your favorite Buffalo Wild Wings to learn more about this offer.
Don't drop the ball this football season. Make Tom Thumb your game day destination. We are your first round pick for snacks, chips, dips, and drinks. If you're tailgating before the game, don't get blindsided. Head to Tom Thumb for all your supplies. Score big savings with our rewards card. You'll earn 4 fuel points for every dollar spent in store. From hot dogs and buns to ice and propane, Tom Thumb has you covered to help you enjoy the game. For the ultimate game day, team up with Tom Thumb, the local store for local champions.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K. Happy Monday. 1 week closer to the start of the football season. All eyes on the college football world. We'll be on Orlando in a couple of weeks as we have the Florida Gators and the Miami Hurricanes getting things squared away to start the season. Mickey Loomis, we're expecting him to join us at some point today. Haven't been able to get a hold of him yet, so we will certainly keep trying, and looking forward to talk to him, the insight that he can bring coming from the head of a front office, and how the contract situations work. I don't necessarily, Coach, expect him to comment on any other contract negotiations that are happening, but I think some unique insight into how these things happen, guys holding out, as we still have some high profile ones out there, and he just had to deal with a high profile one of his own.
Yeah, well, it's amazing what goes on in these negotiations. It really is. You start at a certain point, and my gosh, the different plateaus you hit on the way up are just gut wrenching. But anyway, we'll get him to talk about that. I know firsthand on getting some people signed, just being totally involved in the process. It's very, very difficult to do.
Of course, we had the Hall of Fame induction ceremony over the weekend, and this came up here on NBC Pro Football Talk. An interesting idea that the Pro Football Hall of Fame has for this coming year, talking about plans for an expanded Hall of Fame class to help celebrate the NFL's 100th season. The Pro Football Hall of Fame, as you may or may not know, everybody who is inducted into the Hall of Fame is done so individually. So the voters go through each individual candidate, whether they're on the first ballot, whether on second, third, fourth, fifth, however long it is, and they vote on each candidate as individuals. A certain percentage of the vote determines if they are to be enshrined in that given year's class. This, though, from Pro Football Talk and talking about the plans for an expanded class, the Pro Football Hall of Fame deciding to pull a group of candidates for next year's class and then have the selection committee vote either for all of them or none of them. And there are concerns, obviously, that this may torpedo or kind of blow up the plans for an expanded class, because how many times are you going to get unanimous consensus on even one guy, a guy who we think should be a unanimous consensus person? It always seems like there's that one person out there who votes no. We see that every year in the Baseball Hall of Fame, and how there's only been one or two unanimous selections since the Hall of Fame even started. So instead of voting for each candidate individually the day before the Super Bowl, the Hall of Fame Selection Committee will vote for 5 candidates as individuals and then vote for a 15-candidate group. Now, in this pool of 15 candidates, this would include 10 players who are at least 25 years retired, 3 contributors, and 2 coaches as a whole. So based on this article, it looks like we would still have the, quote, normal Hall of Fame class, and then to help celebrate the 100th season, that expanded class of 15 candidates. Again, that's 10 players who have been retired for at least 25 years, along with 3 contributors and 2 coaches. So, Coach, every year it seems like there's always a conversation about, guys left out, or, man, I really wish that this guy had another year of eligibility because this may be the year. We could probably, Coach, I'm sure you have in the top of your head probably a list of players or coaches or contributors that you think should be in Canton that aren't right now. So when you hear this talk of a pool of 15 candidates where it's kind of all or nothing, your reaction to that?
I don't know how they're going to pull that off. I just have no idea. On the surface, I think it's ludicrous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and just some guys who we're looking at as who might be one of these 15 candidates. Again, this is according to Pro Football Talk. Former Commissioner Paul Tagliabue. And it's interesting as this article goes on, quoting here, some voters are dead set against inducting Tagliabue because they believe his response to research into players' brain injuries was unacceptable. That's interesting to me, because now we're talking about a particular voters with a vendetta against one guy who could kind of blow up the whole thing. For the 14 other players players, executives, contributors who we could say absolutely they're worthy.
Yeah, again, I don't know how you would even begin to pull that off. So I don't see that happening. I really don't. I can't believe it would. I was just happy that Johnny Robinson, an old friend of mine, got in. Very deserving. Should have been in before. Heck of a player. Great player, great guy, and I think people like Chuck Knox, for example, I really feel should be in there, but I don't think you could put Chuck Knox in a group of people and expect him to pass scrutiny with some of the people in there. So I don't know how they're going to do that, and I don't suspect that it will ever happen. I really don't.
The other thing coming out this week, and Coach, I've asked you off the air, so I know your feelings already. Hard Knocks, the annual HBO special that goes into the ins and outs of training camp, and of course this year is the Oakland Raiders, their last year prior to moving to Las Vegas. There's a lot to really dive into with Oakland. Again, another year of John Gruden. The dynamic between him and Mike Mayock who himself is a famous NFL draft analyst for the NFL Network, of course, before becoming the general manager of the Raiders. There's Antonio Brown, Derek Carr, a lot of new pieces as the Raiders hope to improve their chances. Coach, I already know you told me that you're not into Hard Knocks. I believe you told me that you hadn't even seen it before. And of course, as somebody who is been on the inside, if you were a coach, if you're the coach in the Raiders and Hard Knocks, or the owner comes to you and says, hey, we're thinking about doing Hard Knocks and we're going to feature your team, your response would be what?
Over my dead body. I just would not have too much intrusion. My gosh, the training camp is the one place where you get that ultimate us against them team camaraderie, a routine that's hopefully going to last you through the year, and then to allow the press to come in and just tear that all apart. No, there's no way. I say I've never seen it. I've seen a couple of not episodes,
but just, like promos
promos, things like that. So I'm fairly familiar with what it is, but no, I have no desire to watch it. And I certainly would have no desire to have my football team on Hard Knocks. No way.
And that's certainly, I can certainly understand that. The amount of coverage, the amount of cameras, the intrusion, the cameras, the insight that they really provide is why I like it so much, because as an NFL fan, I love the Sunday Ticket. I love the Red Zone channel. I mean, I just love, and I think a lot of people, a lot of football fans are like this too, the amount of access that these type of programs give. I mean, that's the one thing I think that really is undervalued in just why we consume as much as we do. And let me explain. If there was a channel where I could pay a subscription $10 a month or $10 a game or whatever, and I had everybody on the field, coaches, players, I had them mic'd up where it was unedited, right? I mean, it would have to be on like pay-per-view or something, because who knows what's flying out of the mouths of these guys, right? But I would absolutely pay for that, just because I love the access. I love the insider vantage point, which so few people get to experience, and so I certainly understand where you're coming from. Is that I don't want anything to do with Hard Knocks. I don't want the distraction. I don't want the intrusion. I say, give me all of the distractions. Give me all the intrusions. I want to see everything, and it's such a unique dynamic where the NFL is welcoming that. I think other professional leagues are welcoming that, and I mean I love Hard Knocks. I love it.
Well, I can tell you from experience that I think it's ridiculous the way that they have invaded the world that you live in. Now, keep in mind, you pretty much take yourself out of the real world and you enter into maybe even another realm, if you will. But you want to keep things in-house. Mm-hmm. There are a number of reasons for doing that. You want to keep people intact with each other, and you want to kind of keep the world out. The other world out. You want this to be that type atmosphere. And I know that sounds strange to some people, but I'm telling you, that is the type. And there's nothing unhealthy about that. It's healthy. You allow the press, and I know back to even during the World League, was when they first started microphones on the coaches and calling the plays in. Mm. And they wanted to be able to, at any time, listen in on the coach who's calling the plays. I would not allow that. There's no way I'm going to allow them to get the play up there, have the play call, and it's not hard to discern whether it's a run or a pass. Mm-hmm. And have that going out when somebody could get it on a television and relay signals very quickly. I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, too many.
And there are too many things that could happen. Now, keep in mind, the more you expose these players to total openness to the press, how many times are you going to invite with 53, 54 players? Are you going to invite someone to say something that's not going to be in the best interest of your football team from the standpoint of who you're going to play next, who you've played before, or another teammate? A lot of things could pop up that could put your locker room in jeopardy. So am I going to take that chance? No, I'm not going to do it. So, that football team, how many times these guys have worked like you can't believe to make a football team, to get in shape, and to play the game of football. And now I'm going to just open that world up to somebody who hasn't paid that price. No, I'm not going to do it.
Well, it was a really good example, and I don't know if you saw this, but the Carolina Panthers were featured in a series, All or Nothing. This is on Amazon Prime, if you want to know what I'm talking about here. And there was a really interesting clip from the series where there was a video in it. It looked like a meeting room where Cam Newton and Luke Kuechly were watching film, and as they were watching film, Cam FaceTimes Josh Norman, who I believe last year was playing for the 49ers or Redskins. I don't remember the team, but anyway, so he was FaceTiming Josh Norman ahead of the matchup in that particular week, and Josh Norman asked Cam, "Hey, is Olsen is he going to play?" And Luke Kuechly, like without even a blinking of an eye, says no. And Cam kind of looks over at him like, "Dude, what are you doing?" Just kind of. It was such an interesting dynamic, and a really funny scenario though is we're talking about how secretive the institution of the team of the game plan is, and just for Luke Kuechly to just off the fly just be like, yeah, no, he's not playing, you don't have to worry about him. I think Olsen did end up playing, but still, at the time it certainly looked like Cam's natural instinct was, hey man, like don't be telling him that, but it was such an interesting perspective and an insight, and I love stuff like that just because you get to see the human element. We like to in the media, and I think the NFL likes it. The coaches certainly like it, where everybody's falls in line. We gave it our best shot. We'll be back and we'll do it better next week. And towing the party line, and shows like this really give these players a personality, and laughable moments like that. And that's what I like to see.
Let me tell you, a lot of the press, what they live for, they live for something that is going to be that people are going to pick up and read. Are they going to turn the TV on and watch? Are they going to listen to on radio or whatever?
Yeah.
They would love nothing but. That's why they like all these coaches, for example, that make clowns of themselves. They loved having Jerry Glanville.
Oh yeah.
Why? Now he was an embarrassment to the coaching profession, but they loved it because he made a clown out of himself all the time, and they like it with players who become clowns, who embarrass themselves, embarrass their football team. These guys doing some of the things they do, and the press really plays it up. But in the background, they're laughing at them, just like everybody else. They're laughing at them. They degrade the integrity of the game, I think, and I mean, I wish it weren't the case. It is the case, but quite frankly, I wish it was not the case. And that's why I would limit, what they get paid for. The press is they get paid to report on an event that is happening, and report on it either with the printed material or electronically through television, radio, whatever. That's what they get paid to do. They don't get paid to make coaching decisions. They don't get paid to do other things that I feel are intrusions into the players and the coaches. That in my opinion is not their job. I love what Bill Parcells said. Was it Bill Parcells? I think said at one time. Some writer, a reporter, was questioning something about something that happened in the ball game. Could have been a coaching decision or whatever, and he asked him, the writer. He said, "Well, your job is pretty intricate too." He said, "Everybody learns to write in the third grade, so." It's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I'm not trying to degrade anybody's ability or what they can do. I'm appreciative of that, but I think there are limits as to what they should have access to.
So if I may, and I'll give you a few minutes to think about this if we're close to the break, but those famous dust-up, those media dust-ups that we're kind of all familiar with, the Dennis Green, we are who we thought they were, and just instances where coaches have kind of had it with the media. I want to know, did you ever have that, or if you can recall the situation where you were closest to, if there was just a media member, if there was a scenario that was just really pushing your buttons and you either kind of went off on them or you got really close to do. I would love to hear that story. We'll talk about that more in more NFL news and notes coming back. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K, ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
When you're looking for a great deal on a reliable new or certified pre-owned vehicle, you can't beat Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola. Bob Tyler Toyota has the best selection in town at incredible low prices. You can check out their amazing inventory from Camrys to Tundra trucks to 4Runners. It's all at Bob Tyler Toyota, and you can find it online at bobtylertoyota.com. Also score a touchdown this football season with the car of your dreams. Again, it's only at Bob Tyler Toyota in Car City, Pensacola.
I'm attorney Stephen Luongo with Levin, Papantonio, Thomas, Mitchell, Rafferty, and Proctor in Pensacola, Florida. Distracted driving is a dangerous epidemic on America's roadways. In 2016 alone, over 3,000 people were killed in motor vehicle crashes involving distracted drivers. This according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. For more information, please visit us today online at levinlaw.com. Please be safe on the roadways. Stop the text, stop the wrecks.
How good are PXG clubs? Golf writers describe them as absolutely remarkable and the best golf clubs out there. Our customers call them insanely good and say they live up to the hype. So what are you waiting for? Step up your game and enjoy golf more than ever. Call 844-PLAY-PXG, 844-PLAY-PXG, or visit pxg.com to book your custom fitting. PXG. Nobody makes golf clubs the way we do. Period.
Summer's here, and there's no better time to hit the road. At AutoZone, we have the Duralast batteries you can rely on to drive with confidence. They're proven tough, even in the most extreme conditions. That's because they're designed to improve performance and provide your ride with a powerful startup. And they're available only at AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Visit us at AutoZone.com to get everything you need and start the job fast. Based on data from the MPD Group Incorporated, Car Care Track 12 months ending December 2018.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
If you have frequent heartburn, take control of it with Prilosec OTC instead of stashing antacids everywhere, like in your junk drawer, buried under old batteries and hotel pens, or in your purse, hiding in the one pocket you won't check. You even have antacids on your nightstand, which are very hard to see in the dark. It's time you stopped stashing antacids and started taking Prilosec OTC. 1 pill a day, 24 hours, 0 heartburn.
It's possible with Prilosec OTC. Uses directed for 14 days, not for immediate relief.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola 94.5. You're listening to Talk Football with Coach K. Coach K and Joe Ford with you live in studio. If you want to weigh in on anything we're talking about, 972-1945 is the phone number. Again, 972-1945. So we're talking about media dust-ups and just the nature of the business that NFL has with programs like Hard Knocks, with the Red Zone channel, with DirecTV Sunday Ticket, all of these different live programs, all these tape programs that the mic'd up programs that give fans an access and an insider's view on the world of professional football. Coach doesn't like Hard Knocks. He's not going to tune in. And we were talking a little bit about the media and what their job is and how intrusive the media can be. And at the end of last segment, I asked Coach if there were any instances that he could recall, any scenarios where he either blew up at a reporter or was very close to blowing up. And Coach, you told me you do have some examples of when things got a little out of control there.
Well, I have a couple of times. I think anybody that's coached, certainly if you've been a head coach, you've got those criticisms coming day in, day out. But I've certainly been not only close, but I've had a couple of occasions where I had something to say to them, and I meant it sincerely. Like how long are you going to be employed, and asking them, yeah, do you have a contract or whatever. But anyway, that's neither here nor there at this point. It's that yes, you certainly have you get a raw edge with the press and some of the things that they feel they have a right to ask and a right to know, and would ask questions that certainly do not go outside the locker room. You wouldn't have players talking about it, nor should coaches talk about it, and I certainly would not have a member of the press confide. I could confide with a member of the press on it. I mean, it's not. There's no way that's going to happen. So anyway, yeah, I've reached the edge and I've had a good relationship with some. We pretty much knew each other and knew the personalities and how we felt philosophically about the job and the role that we had, both of us.
Yeah.
And so that stayed intact, and it was a good relationship. So I had no problem there.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see how the two worlds intersect. And Coach, I'm sure you're I would not be going on a limb to say that you would probably really appreciate how Bill Belichick has kind of controlled the media for as long as he has, and just the responses to the questions he gives. The press, their job is to inform, and they report on the teams that the fans they buy the subscriptions, they buy the newspapers, what have you, and they want to know, hey, what's going on with my football team? And you talk about those two worlds and how oftentimes they try to coexist, but often there's lines that sometimes need to be crossed, but some that can't be crossed.
Yeah. Listen, I love the way Bill Belichick handles the press. I think it's outstanding. He has done an outstanding job of showing the way, and has done a good job in providing a route for his players too, so you don't find the problems with their players in the press that you do with other teams.
Yeah, and joining us right now, we finally able to get a hold of him, New Orleans Saints General Manager and Executive Vice President Mickey Loomis, graciously donating his time. Mickey, thanks for joining the program this afternoon.
Absolutely, glad to do it. I'm sorry for the delay.
No problem, Mickey. This is Kay Stevenson. Good to have you on, my friend. And we've got a lot of Saints fans over this way. I got a number of questions, so I probably should jump into them here quickly. First, absolutely. You got your your receiver, Michael Thomas, signed, and my gosh, what he's done in the first 3 years as a pro is pretty much amazing. Certainly to me, knowing what it takes to get that done.
Yeah, look, Mike's been fantastic, and look, he's been durable and obviously productive. He's a tireless worker. It's really important for him to be the best player he can be, and look, he's been, the other thing, and it doesn't get talked about much, as productive as he's been on the field, is that, look, he's a great representative of our organization off the field, and couldn't be more excited and happy that he's under contract for a long time.
I knew you were going to say that. I had heard that from a couple of other people, and that makes a difference too. Regardless of what people think, they think it's only what you do on the field, but having the right personality and the right team type approach means an awful lot as well.
Yeah, it sure does.
Obviously, you have a great, not a good, but a great quarterback there. I just think the world of Breeze. I can't stress enough how much I feel he's done for that city and for that football team, and to have him now have his receiver. I have to ask you, how do you feel about somebody who's going to complement Mike Thomas on the other side, another receiver? I know I know what you do with Kamara and the matchups, and his involvement in the passing game is certainly considerable. But do you have any? What are the thoughts about the other receiver, somebody that can maybe take the top off?
Yeah, I think that, look, and historically we've, it's been true here for us. We've had our best offenses. We've had a number of guys that we've had confidence in, that Drew's had confidence in getting the ball to them. And I feel like we've got some young guys, Traquan Smith and Keith Kirkwood, Austin Carr, that are all capable. And we've seen a lot of good things from them in practice. We've got Ted Ginn, who's a veteran player, who's done a lot of good things for us. He was injured, unable to play a number of times last year. So, he looks great in camp. He can still run. He's a weapon for our team. And then the addition of Jared Cook gives us a pass catching threat at tight end. Look, I think we feel good about the number of guys, number of weapons that we have, and some of these young guys are going to develop and get better, and they did some good things last year. Probably not as consistent as you would like a year ago, but that comes with time on task, and I think we like what we see in camp so far.
That's wonderful. I really feel like that a number of receivers are going to be better because of Breeze too. Let me ask you about the running back situation. Now, you had running back with the two running backs there for a number of years, and now it's Kamara and whomever. What do you think he's going to end up taking a larger role in the run game, more carries, or do you feel like you still will be able to complement him?
Yeah, we went out and we signed Latavius Murray, who's got he's an accomplished player in our league. Obviously, in a perfect world, Mark would have come back, but look, we couldn't make that happen, and so we've got Latavius Murray. I think we all feel like he's going to be able to step into that role, and we certainly don't want to overtax Alvin Kamara, but we've always been a team that spread the ball around back there in the backfield, and I see that continuing.
Right. You drafted a young man last year, and we didn't know much about him. University of Texas, San Antonio, Marcus Davenport, and talking after that draft, and was talking to Bill Polian. In fact, I had him on the program, and he just raved about that draft choice. He felt that Davenport would end up being a great pro player. So I have to ask you at this point, is he on schedule, and what are the plans for him?
Yeah, I would say this. Look, we feel good about Marcus. Given his time on task at the position, even in college, the level that he played at, which is a good level, but obviously it's not Alabama or LSU. There's some development that is required, and we saw a lot of really good flashes last year. And look, we got some good contribution for him, and so it's going to be important for him to develop. And that's never fast enough for fans or even for us inside the building. But that development has to occur, and look, we see that coming, and he's got a great mentor on the other side in Cam Jordan. And look, it took a while for Cam to be as productive as he's been over the last 5-6 years. It took him a few years before that clicked in, and he became as productive as everyone expected. So I think he's on schedule. Look, we like what we see, and yet there's still work to be done.
Yeah. Mickey, you're in one of the toughest divisions, no doubt about it. They're the NFC South. And you've got Atlanta, who's arguably got some of the best offensive talent in the league accumulated there. Probably going to be a little better on defense, and Carolina. But how do you feel? What is the feeling there as to your position and the NFC South as a whole?
Well, look, I think you called that right. Is that look, we've got a tough division, and it starts with the quality of the coaches in the division. Bruce Arians being down in Tampa, and obviously Ron Rivera and Dan Quinn in Carolina, and Atlanta. Those guys are great coaches, and they've done a wonderful job at their places. They've got there's good teams. All three of them have really good teams and good talent, and so we don't take anything for granted. This doesn't matter that we won the division last year. We're starting from ground zero, and that's the attitude we take. And obviously our number one and first goal is to win our division. So that's where our focus lies, and we're going to have our hands full. And last year was the first time we've ever been able to win the division 2 years in a row, and so obviously our target is to win it again. But we know it's tough to ask.
Well, certainly it is. And listen, I know that you're in camp here and your time is very valuable. I can't thank you enough for being on with us. I've got a number of other questions, a number of other things I'd like to discuss with you. Would it be possible if maybe a couple of weeks into the season we maybe catch you for 10 or 15 minutes?
Absolutely. Listen, I have a great appreciation for the fans over there in the Panhandle of Florida. Look, I go over there with my family a lot, and look, it's always fun to talk Saints football with the people when we're over there, and so I appreciate that. I'm glad to go on at any time, okay, and I appreciate talking to you.
Well, we do appreciate it. We're going to let you go, but I will be back in touch with you because it means a lot to have you on in this area.
Absolutely, and look, I'll be able to answer those questions as we get into this preseason and we see what we have.
You betcha. Thank you, Mickey.
Take care.
All right, so it was Mickey Loomis, General Manager and Executive Vice President for the New Orleans Saints. And, Coach, just a little bit of reaction in the couple of minutes that we have left. The second wide receiver position that you have several times expressed concern over, who is the guy that they kind of stepped up, and it sounded to me like they're pretty comfortable with the amount of receivers that they have there. I mentioned Ted Ginn by name, also, and something that I didn't really think about before was Jared Cook, a guy who was and has been a tight end who, with a lot of talent, hasn't really been able to put it together for a full season. We saw glimpses of that last year of what he can be to an offense, and now he's going to a team with the bona fide quarterback, a wide receiver on the outside, and Jared Cook, a guy with a lot of speed that can patrol the middle of the field.
He's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. Potential's a bad word, because you better get there.
Yeah.
Potential's a killer. But I think if he can correct his course and become what he's capable of becoming, he could be a major asset for him. It sounded to me as though Mickey's enthused with these younger receivers. It sounds like they've got a lot of speed, and that they'll have a couple of them come out of this pack here in the camp. This is what I'm guessing, not just based on talk, that will be able to take the top off and give them what they need on the other side. And if they can include Cook in there and get the production from Kamara, which they normally do, as they match him up with linebackers and safeties, along with Thomas, they're going to have what they need in the passing game.
And the other main takeaway I took away from that, especially concerned with the offensive side of the ball, there'll be more touches for Alvin Kamara for sure, but they brought in Latavius Murray, so I still think you're seeing that 1-2 punch, although Kamara will certainly be tasked with the brunt of the offensive work, which is what they want, but they don't want to get him too many touches and limit his effectability. So that was a great interview, Coach. General Manager Mickey Loomis of the New Orleans Saints. We'll be back tomorrow talking more football with Coach K. We'll see you tomorrow. ESPN Pensacola 94.5.
This is Pensacola's hometown all-sports station and home of the Blue Wahoos, ESPN Pensacola 94.5. Catch all the Wahoos games home and away all season, plus all the latest Wahoos news from Chad Brilliante on the Sports Drive, 5 till game time weeknights. And hey, if your business would like to partner with us as an advertiser or with a local sports promotion, then give us a call at 850-262-6000 or shoot us an email from the advertise page on ESPNpensacola.com.
From coast to coast, the Stephen A. Smith Show starts right